The science shows us that we have less than a decade to halve global emissions, and yet I'd say that most business leaders are in denial about this fact. Many are, trapped in business as usual and doubling down on the existing system when we need really radical and transformative solutions. So it's incredibly important that we have young people in the room, the generation who are going to inherit the climate crisis, and we have people using their voices to really challenge that business as usual kind of industry mindset so that companies and business leaders can see that another way is possible. So I personally serve on a number of boards within companies, and it's really important that we actually invite young people and people on the margins into the corridors of power to be those challengers and to be those disruptors. But I think at the end of the day, it really just comes down to connecting on a human level. I think so often when we're talking about the climate crisis, we're talking about stats and figures, which might feel a bit abstract. We're also talking about, quarterly profits and, bottom line, and talking about the climate crisis almost as a business opportunity. And yet, of course, the climate crisis is so much more existential than that. And what I've seen to be really effective working in boardrooms is that, leaders have said, I'm not here talking to you because I've read the IPCC report or because I went to COP, but because my kids came home at the end of the day and asked, Mom, Dad, what are you doing about the climate crisis? And so each of us need to connect on a really human level, and we need to awaken the moral imperative within leaders of organizations to realize that this is about the planet that they're handing to their kids. It's about their legacy, and ultimately it's about what their role is in what is a hugely overwhelming problem, but where they have tremendous opportunity and influence to create a real difference. The first thing I would say is that if you're not uncomfortable, you're not in the right rooms. Addressing the climate crisis in a meaningful way means rethinking so much of how we live, from the food we eat to the clothes we wear to who we elect into power and how we get them there. Within business, it means really challenging and thinking about the role of value generation. And those aren't easy conversations. They ask us to challenge and question so much that we've inherited and so much that we take for granted. And so I'd say get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and also have the courage to imagine what a radically different world can look like. Because as much as we focus on the problems, the climate crisis is also the best opportunity we've ever had to rethink the world that we've inherited and to really champion much more fair and equitable societies.